Hello and welcome to Spirals from Jupiter. I am your host, Kimberly Pepper. Thank you for joining me. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Today I have a very important topic to talk about if you are on the journey of self-discovery, self-mastery, or freedom, which is the petty tyrant. And for those of you who don't know what the petty tyrant is, you've probably referred to them in your life as a bitch or an asshole or a dick. One of those things, because that's what they are. They are a bunch of jerks, and we've all dealt with them in life, right? Yes. And any of you who said no, I don't believe you, because it's just not true. Anyway, so before I start this conversation with you all in your minds, I want to preface this by saying in no way do I excuse the petty tyrant's behavior at all. They're responsible for their own actions, but what we are responsible for are our reactions, right? That's what we're responsible for. And what does the petty tyrant want from any of us, right? Our reactions, and especially negative ones. They live for it. They want our negative reactions. They want us to feel pain. They want us to be sad. They want us to cry. They want us to be upset. So, we could speculate forever why. And I'm sure there are various reasons. And there are narcissists. There are people who have unhealed trauma, things like that. But it really doesn't matter about them. What we're focused on are ourselves, right? And in terms of ourselves, petty tyrants can be one of the most greatest allies you'll ever have in life. And you may be saying, what are you talking about? You've gone off the deep end. That sounds crazy. And I realize it does sound a little bit crazy. But I encourage you to shift your perspective with the petty tyrant from a negative emotion to feeling like this person has come into your life for a good reason, a blessing, right? A blessing even. And stop feeling like it's a curse and stop honoring it as a curse, because when you give the petty tyrant the negative reaction they desire, you are honoring the power that they are trying to put over you in your life. You're honoring it. You're saying, yes, I accept that you have the power to make me upset. And here is your negative reaction. Here is your present. Keep on taking from me. And you keep giving them permission over and over to take from you. But I know I didn't used to see it this way. I'll tell you that I think that I used to handle petty tyrants the way that most of everyone did. Mostly everybody handled them in a way that was like, all right, that person's a jerk. I'm going to vent about them. Maybe I'll tell them off. Maybe I will, knowing me, I probably told them off because I'm a fire sign. I'm a little bit feisty. Anyone who knows me knows that. But really, what does that do for you at the end of the day? I know that I did feel some relief and release, but in that relief, I also felt despair because I just gave the one person who wanted this what they wanted, right? I just gave them what they wanted. I handed it to them on a silver platter. So this is why it's important to really learn about yourself, and because it creates this immunity from people who want to control you and have an agenda for you in your life. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people like this, right? They can't stay on their own paths. They're always consumed with someone else's path. They just cannot tend to themselves. They can't. And they want to impose their own forms of control. They think everyone should be living life exactly the way they are, and usually they don't have it together. So it's actually a little bit funny. But the greatest defense that you can have is to shift your perspective, see them as a blessing, and ask yourself, why is this person irritating me and agitating me this way? How are they eliciting such a response from me? And the reason that this is just so valuable in terms of soul is that so many things are buried in the subconscious that we We don't know, and we don't see it. We don't. And it would just take many lifetimes to uncover everything that is in your subconscious mind. But in terms of things that bother you, it's great. It's great that someone just pulled it out. They said, hey, look what's hiding in your soul. It's a gift. And they said to you, look what's hiding in your soul right here. And somehow petty tyrants really have a radar for this kind of thing. They can really pick up on our insecurities. They really are just so good at it, right? So then a lot of times they'll fish around for those insecurities. But once they find them, they go in, right? And they start throwing dynamite in there because they want these reactions. And honestly, it's like such a cowardly thing. It's a real cowardly thing, especially because these people, they're just so miserable themselves. And if you're glowing, if you're a bright light, then these people are going to be really attracted to you. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. And what can happen, and I know at one point in my life it happened for me, I thought, something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with me because I'm attracting people who are not treating me well. And what I actually learned is that I was attracting people who weren't treating me well because I wasn't treating myself well. I wasn't treating myself well. These people were mirrors of how I was treating myself. That's really, really, really profound. And that's what I mean by looking inward, because I just didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, this is my fault. This is my fault. First of all, you should never take someone else's words and internalize them and think that their words are your fault. That's absolutely false. Just like your reactions are your responsibility. Someone else's words and actions, those are their responsibility. And no matter how much they try to blame it on you, it's just not true. Just not true. So never, ever internalize. Because you have, honestly, a lot of stuff in there you probably need to deal with as it is, and you don't need to just be so consumed with what other people have to say, but especially not petty tyrants. What's particularly funny about petty tyrants is that every time you call them on it, and you'll find this in petty tyrant relationships that are romantic especially, if you say, hey, you hurt me, they'll be like, well, you did this or you did that. And they never take responsibility. And most of the time they'll be like, I love you so much and I would never hurt you. I don't know what you're talking about, right? And if you get a petty tyrant to admit that they're doing things to hurt you on purpose, well, then hell has frozen over and you should play the lotto, and you are probably the luckiest person in the world because you should not count on one to tell you what they're doing. They don't tell you about their plans. No, they just scheme and scheme and scheme. That's their signature. But again, this is a great thing for you. And I've gotten to the point where some of the biggest petty tyrants in my life, for one, they don't contact me very often, which is great. I'm not complaining. But I'll tell you why, because once I realized I was not being kind to myself, and that was the reason people were in my life not being kind to me, I changed that. I am very kind to myself now. I'm very forgiving of myself. I don't speak ill to myself. I don't tell myself stories about myself. I don't hold my past over my head. None of that. No, I'm free now of all of that. And because I am personally free of that, thank you to my petty tyrants, my allies, in part. But I'm free, and it's a great feeling. So I have actually come out of the other side of this. But like I was saying, some of them just don't really contact me anymore. That's fantastic. They can't get their negative energy emotion fixed from me. Others, our relationships have transformed and they treat me with the respect that I command. I do not make a big deal out of it, right? I don't say, you have to respect me and you have to do this. No, you don't, because that's just giving them negative emotion. It's just a very blatant thing where it's like either you respect me or you don't respect me, and if you don't respect me, then I'm not talking to you. I will not give you a reaction. You will get nothing from me. And if you have a petty tyrant in your life and you need to vent about it, I suggest that you write, just because you don't have to tell anybody, but if you do have to tell anyone, then I suggest that you that you talk to people that you know care about you and that you know love you. Because the petty tyrant banks on you wanting their approval and wanting them to change. So they really delight in you coming to them and saying, you're bothering me and this is causing me this and that. Again, it's that negative emotion that they want from you. So as you're on this journey, actually, you know, what I would encourage you to do, if you do choose to write, take a page and write down everything. Like, just vent, just let it out. Don't think about it. Don't think about punctuation. Don't think about grammar. Don't think about sentence structure. Just write it all out, because I do understand needing that release. But on the next page, write down your emotions. What did you feel? Just write them down. Don't think about it. And then on the next page, write down, okay, why do I feel this way? Are there some pre-existing insecurities here that this person has picked up on and is now honed in on? And that's something you could keep revisiting as they irritate you even more. If you have to be around this person, that is, you know. I suggest not subjecting yourself to them if you have a way to do that, because there's no reason to tolerate it or put up with it. But the fact that they shook you in the first place, that writing exercise would be a good plan. Because sometimes it just helps to see things written out and blatantly written out, and the more honest and real you can be with yourself, the better, right? But especially if you're writing it, because who's gonna know? You don't have to worry about judgment. What, are you judging yourself? Why? What's that doing? It's only keeping you in a prison. And for what? That part of your soul that's tucked away, that's responding to this, that part of your soul is saying, help me, come find me, come get me, please. I need you and I need your love. Like, I need you to come embrace me. Because things that are fearful for us to face, or things that are particularly painful, what happens to those things? They get buried somewhere deep, deep, deep in our souls, because we don't want to face them. But the thing is that they never go away. And these petty tyrants, they're very skilled at finding these insecurities. They're predatory. So this is just their nature. So although it may be buried within you, it may not necessarily be coming off that way in public. These petty tyrants, they are very skilled at just watching your subconscious body language too. I'm not sure, like, I'm just not sure how they come about these skills or what happens, but we all know this to be true, because I'm sure we've all encountered this kind of person. The kind of person who just knows exactly what to say to make you cry, exactly what to say to make you mad, that kind of person. And I say to you, go ahead and cry if you need to cry. Go ahead and get mad if you need to get mad. But again, do not do it to the petty tyrant. Do not feed the beast, because the beast is hungry, and that's why the beast is after you in the first place. And if the beast keeps getting fed, the beast will keep coming back. And you may think that you want the petty tyrant to keep coming back, but you really don't, right? Maybe you want that person to love you, and if you do, that is something you should definitely explore, because that is not from the petty tyrant. That is something in you that needs to be healed. And the more you practice this is the beauty of it. The more you practice this, the more you do it, the more you honor yourself and respect yourself, and the more immune you become from petty tyrants, because petty tyrants, they don't like people who are unshakable. And the more you get to know yourself, the more you love yourself, the better it is. I used to think being very combative and fighting was a really good defense, right? And I thought, oh, this makes me tough, and that person's going to know exactly what I think. They're going to know exactly what I'm feeling, and they're going to know exactly what I think about them, right? And that'll show them. But the petty tyrant, that's what the petty tyrant wants. You're just feeding the beast. It's not going to do you any good. I promise you. I know, I've been down this road. It's just not even worth it. So if you're dealing with this person in your life, I just really encourage you to take a look at yourself, you know, tell yourself, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. No one's going to hurt us, and we're going to be okay. And yes, we will still get hurt sometimes, but the more we explore ourselves and the more we know ourselves, the less that can happen. And the more we show up for ourselves, it's just a way of honoring yourself. It's a way of saying, I deserve this. I deserve to see myself for who I am. I deserve to be authentic. I deserve to express myself authentically. I deserve to be happy, you know? And the petty tyrant is a thief of joy, someone who just loves to suck the joy out of you. And a lot of times they play a lot of games. They're never direct, right? But then when you ask them about it, they're like, no, that's not what I was trying to do, you know, mate. And if they're really good petty tyrant, they'll be like, well, maybe that's your own insecurity talking. And in a way, you can't call them a liar because they're absolutely right. Does that excuse their behavior? Absolutely not. Not at all. Not at all. But the petty tyrant in your life is a blessing, guys. It really is. It's a way to see parts of your soul that are just kind of screaming out to you and want to be seen and heard. So I encourage you guys to just have a different perspective on it. Try it out. See how it works. If you have a petty tyrant, stop feeding them. Start feeding yourself, right? Do that writing exercise. Really look into it. Really dig deep. Don't give the petty tyrant any reaction. They don't deserve any reaction. They don't deserve any energy from you. And telling them off does nothing. I promise you. I know I keep saying that, but I really, really, really want you to get that, you know, get that in. Like, soak that in, because that's just what they want. And they love the control. That's what they want. Ultimately, they want control over you in some way. And this is an easy way for them to do it. It's sort of lazy, and the fact that they even want to control you speaks volumes to them. It really says nothing about you and everything about them, because in life, if we're secure in ourselves and, you know, we're happy, there's no need for us to control anyone else. We don't need anyone to live exactly the way we live. Anyway, how boring is that? That's imagine a world where everyone lived exactly the same. It'd be awful. Yet for some reason, we do have these people who just want to impose their will on us, and unfortunately, at this time, at this point on the planet, we're not going to be able to get away with it, or get away from it. So what I suggest is that you just learn to see it as the blessing that it is, and really take it as an opportunity to learn a lot about yourself. And if you have the power to disconnect from the petty tyrant, I suggest that you do, because really they don't deserve anything from you at all. No one who hurts you on purpose deserves a thing from you. They don't deserve your love. They don't deserve your angst. They don't deserve your anger. Nothing. Period. Period. And so my hope for all of you out there is that you get to this point of self-respect and honoring yourself to where you just won't deal with it. And there's no explanation needed. None. You don't need to make a big fuss about it, because you just are, right? You're just being. And just being in a way that's authentic is so freeing. It makes you so happy, and it's a joyful thing. And I know all of you can get there. And if you're struggling, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone, right? We all deal with these people. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not you. It's nothing about you. Never, ever, ever internalize it again. And just know that people love you and they're here for you. And if you think that you have nobody, you're always welcome to direct message me on Instagram, Kimberly1985 with a Y. So it's KYMBERLY 1985. I do see a lot of my direct messages. Sometimes it might take me a while to get back to you, but I do try to get back to everyone. So you're not alone, even if you just have me. And so if you're telling yourself you're alone, I'm taking that excuse away from you right now. Right? Because I know how that can become an excuse. I know that I used to tell myself that narrative over and over again, which was silly, because I have friends who love and care about me. And I know that. I knew it then, and I know it now. But I wasn't in love with myself the way I am now, and I didn't practice self-love. So I really just me saying that I didn't have anyone or I was all alone, no one understood, was really just a way to tell myself I don't understand myself. I wasn't allowing love into my life. And that's what happens when you don't love yourself. So that's why all of this is so super important. And it's hard work, but it's very, very beneficial. And it gets easier over time. And over time, when you practice this, you stop attracting so many petty tyrants into your life for all the reasons that I've mentioned on here. So I just encourage you to be brave, be fearless, face it all, and know that it's going to be okay. You know that you're loved and know that you're supported. So I guess that's all I really have to say on this. I hope you all got something out of it. I'm always grateful for you, and I do like doing these solo shows. So love you all. Take care. Bye.